All right, hi everyone. This is Nate. I'm the voice that you were just listening to for the past 30 minutes. I said there was going to be a video speaking with a current international student from Indonesia, answering really common questions that we get from international students, not only from Indonesia, but from all over the world. So I would like to introduce to you Aji, and he has a list of questions that he's just going to work through and answer from an international student perspective. And we know that we're probably not going to answer all of the questions that you might have. That is why we provided our emails on the previous slide. So like I said, feel free to reach out to us after this. But I'm gonna turn it over to Aji, and like I said, he's gonna work through the list of questions and just answer them from a student perspective. So Aji, it's all you.
Thank you, Nate. Okay, hi everybody. The first question is, where are you from? What are you currently studying in CSU? So I'll give a brief introduction. My name is Aji Wicaksono. I am from Surabaya, but I went to high school in Bogor, in Sampurna Academy boarding school. And now I am currently studying environmental engineering at CSU. So the second question is, can you describe your college search process? What factors did you use, and how did you eventually decide on CSU? So this is actually a really long process because I've been searching for universities since middle school, so ninth grade, I guess, in Indonesia. And definitely the internet was a really big help, and I also had a really good friend that also helped me refer to some universities in the US because I always wanted to study in the US. And so I applied through Common Apps because luckily I got a fee waiver for the applications from my school. And then how I eventually decided on CSU, because CSU has a really great environmental engineering program. It's one of the best in the country and best in the world. So I tried applying, and Nate here helped me out really well throughout my application process. So I eventually thought this was the right place for me, and I did not regret it one bit. So the next question. Can you describe the campus life at CSU? Are you involved in any clubs or organizations? How easy was it to join? So the campus life at CSU outside of class is very, very fun. It's very exciting. There are a lot of things going on, definitely, especially if you're an international student, because you can get involved in a lot of things in local organizations or international organization based. You know what I mean, right? Like, especially if you live in the residence hall for the first year, you get to know a lot of new people. You get to experience the American life that a lot of people are wondering, I bet. And it's really fun because you get to know new characters, know new cultures. And currently I am in Bridges International, which is a Bible study organization for international students. I am also in the Indonesian Student Association, PERMIAS. And I am also part of the Engineering Empowerment Program for underrepresented engineers. So how I accessed those organizations weren't really too difficult because during the first week of the semester of the new year, usually they have fairs, a lot of fairs, RAM Welcome, and that really helps you connect with all these organizations that you might be interested in, such as if maybe you're interested in American Society of Civil Engineers, for example, if you're taking the civil engineering program, you can also connect that through these fairs, and it's really helpful, it's really nice. So, the next question, what resources are available to help you succeed academically? So here in CSU, what I really like about is they provide office hours for all the professors that have classes, and those classes and those office hours, are really helpful to ask questions and even just to chat with your professor and get to know them because they're really cool people, basically. And if you have any questions on an exam, or maybe you have any questions on homework that you don't really understand what the wording of the questions, you can just go to them and ask. And TAs also have office hours, so if you're taking any labs, you can also go to their office hours, which is really, really helpful. I really recommend that. And another good resource for academic improvement is the TILT building, the Institute of Learning and Teaching. During the week, they have several classes and lectures open for all CSU students, so if you're taking a certain class and you need help, or you want to just do some extra peer teaching and peer learning study sessions, you can just go to the TILT building, which is really nice, and they have a really great resource over there. So, now we're going to the more general questions. What's the food like? So, as a first-year student in CSU, we have to stay in the residence hall, and the food in the residence hall are really good, at first, definitely. But then, so there's a lot of dining halls in CSU. There's Durrell, there's Ramshorn, there's like each residence hall has a dining hall, and they have different menus throughout the week. So it's really nice that you can get different variations, and you can go to many places just to get like dinner or lunch, and the food's really great, especially if you are on a strict diet, for example, gluten-free or maybe halal, you have to eat halal food. They actually provide a really good selection for that here, and that's why it's just so diverse. It's really nice here. So the food's really supportive, but if you do want to get food outside of campus, like in the supermarkets, you have to be careful, especially if you have to eat halal food or maybe you have allergies towards some foods. You have to make sure that they don't have any pork or haram things in it. So the next question is, what's the weather like? When we are recording this video, it just snowed, like the first snow of the entire semester was yesterday, and it's still cold out. It's around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 degrees Celsius, which is very, well, I had to adapt to it quite a bit at first, and especially when you come here in Colorado, it's compared to Indonesia, it's really dry, the air is really dry, so prepare some chapsticks. You have to drink a lot so you don't get dehydrated, because the first time I came here in August, it was really dry, and you can feel it, especially in Indonesia. It's 98% humidity almost every year, throughout the year. So that's something that you definitely have to adapt to and you have to get used to. But other than that, it's really nice. It doesn't rain a lot. It's 300 days of sunny weather, if I'm not mistaken, and it's really nice. If you want to try something other than the dry and the rainy season, Colorado is definitely the place to go. And then, do you feel safe on campus? So on campus, there are many really good resources as well that ensures safety in the campus area, such as SafeWalk or RamRide. So those are like resources where during the night, maybe you're going home from class or you just went to a friend's house and you want to have someone accompany you while walking. You can call up the SafeWalk number and they'll send a police officer to accompany you walk to the place you are going to within campus. And that's a really nice way to at least feel safe going where you are. And there is not many crimes or anything like that or anything scary here. It's all good. It's really safe. And RamRide, for example, if you need a ride from out of campus to somewhere on campus, you can also call them up during Friday nights and all that. So, and if you have bikes, the bike racks they have a lot of bike racks all around campus. So you shouldn't really worry about losing your bikes or losing your possessions, especially if you register your bike. So don't forget to register your bike. Okay. The next question, what is the city of Fort Collins like? I've been here for 3 months now, and I've been doing a lot of exploring, to be honest. The bus systems are really nice, especially the Max bus. So there's this bus system that goes from all the way north of the city to south, and that is a really good way to actually explore, so you can go off at each stop and just walk around real quick. And the city of Fort Collins is very beautiful. It's very clean, it's very nice, and it's not that like a big city like LA or something like that, so you still feel really comfortable, and it's like a suburban area, which is really nice. And the transportation systems here also run really well, but it doesn't run on Sundays though, which kinda sucks. But I mean, other than that, it's really nice. The bus systems, you can go, especially for CSU students, it's completely free. You just have to show your ID and then you hop on and you hop off, and you can go to Horsetooth, to Old Town. It's really nice. The city is really nice. I really enjoy it here. So, next question is, did you experience any culture shock when moving to the US? How did you adjust to this? This is definitely something that's a prominent aspect of moving here. I've lived in Australia for a while, but the culture is definitely different since that Australia lives closer to Asia, so it has more Asian norms, I guess, and a lot of people from Indonesia move there. So in the United States, you definitely have to adapt with. More of the cultural shock for me was the people, so how I communicate with the people, how I differentiate between what is actually considered polite or unnecessary, do you know what I mean? So sometimes Indonesians are known to be very, very polite in both body language and in words, but sometimes here it's just seen as you don't have to be that polite, it's fine. So that's like the cultural adaptation that I had to go through, how to communicate with other people, how to like acknowledge their ideas, and how people uphold free will and free speech a lot here compared to Indonesia. So that's definitely something new that I had to really understand completely. And especially right now, it's during the election period. So when I first arrived, the dynamics of the political system and the political situation in America was really high, and that was actually really fun to be a part of, because I can experience and like know how the people actually perceive their political system, which is very interesting. It's very intriguing. So that was the cultural shock that maybe I had to go through. And homesickness was definitely part of it. The first 2 weeks was kind of hard because it's 13 hours different. So I had to jog all around campus just so I can sleep at 2 a.m. So that was definitely something that you have to be prepared for, because the time is different, the climate is different, and sometimes it just messed up with your sleep cycle, it messes up with your mood during the day, but other than that, it's completely fine. And the last question, can you give some advice to students who are looking to go to school in the US? So first of all, you must know and identify what you want to do, because that's a really important factor. I mean, you can change in the middle of the way, but at least you have a general idea what you want to do, because if you know what you want to do, you know what school you want to go in and what you want to major in, and then you can start looking for the schools that have your major and have a good major in that school. So, and the second thing is you have to really think about the financial aspect, I guess. I mean, some cities are much more expensive compared to others, and some states you have to have more to be able to survive there. But that is well, at least in my opinion, that was a really big factor. So I had to do a lot of research on like how the affordability of living in a certain state or a certain city. And the last thing is make sure that you have all your family support, because you wouldn't be having a good time if you didn't have their support completely. And make sure that you and your parents both have the same idea and the same vision for your future, even though you're doing it, but make sure that they understand what you're going through, and you have to understand what they're going through as well, so you can both understand them and be understood when you're far from them. It's really exciting though. I really suggest that you should go to the United States first studying, because it's definitely a completely different experience. In Indonesia, they do have a lot of good universities, but if you want to learn things inside and outside of class, I definitely suggest going to the States. Well, that's all from me.
All right. Thanks, Aji. So hopefully he answered some of your questions that you had. And just for reference, it is November 18th here in the U.S. I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but so November 17th was the first time it snowed this year. Like I said, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy, and we hope to see you on campus at Colorado State.